People who grew up in the 1970s. This video might hit a little too close to home, because if you were a kid back then, you didn't just grow up, you survived childhood. No internet, no smartphones, no Google, and absolutely no one checking if you were emotionally okay. If you're from the 70s, your parents didn't ask, "How was your day?" They asked, "Did you die?" And if the answer was no, congratulations. That was love. Let's talk about it. If you grew up in the 1970s, your childhood came with freedom and danger. A lot of danger. You left the house in the morning, and your parents had no idea where you were. No tracking apps, no calls, no texts. Just vibes and hope. You'd be gone for 8 hours, show up at sunset covered in dirt, bruises, and mystery injuries, and nobody asked questions. Today, kids disappear for 10 minutes, and there's a neighborhood search party, 3 group chats, and a helicopter. Back then, if you weren't home by dark, your parents assumed you were figuring life out. Entertainment in the 1970s was simple. You didn't need a screen. You were the content. You played outside until you were exhausted, thirsty, or bleeding, whichever came first. Sticks became swords. Rocks became toys. And bikes? Bikes were basically vehicles of freedom with zero safety features. No helmets. No knee pads. No rules. You rode downhill like, if I die, I die. And somehow, you lived. If you grew up in the 70s, you learned pain early. Falling off a bike wasn't a tragedy. It was a lesson. You didn't cry. You checked if anyone saw you fall. If no one saw it, you were fine. If someone saw it, now it hurt. And your parents' medical advice was legendary. Rub some dirt on it. You'll be fine. Walk it off. Broken bone? Walk it off. Concussion? Walk it off. Missing limb? Well, at least you learned something. Let's talk about food. If you were hungry in the 1970s, you didn't get snacks on demand. You got whatever was in the house. Sometimes that meant cereal for dinner. Sometimes it meant bread with butter and hope. And sometimes it meant nothing, because dinner is at 6. And 6 meant 6, not 6:02. Not 6:15. 6. Miss it? Congratulations. You just unlocked the fasting experience. And school? School in the 70s was different. Teachers weren't afraid of parents. Parents weren't afraid of teachers. If you got in trouble at school, you got in more trouble at home. There was no, "What happened?" There was, "What did you do?" Homework wasn't stressful because it was hard. It was stressful because you forgot it. And now your life was over. And somehow, without YouTube tutorials, AI, or online notes, you still learned things. Wild, right? If you grew up in the 1970s, you learned patience the hard way. You waited for cartoons. You waited for phone calls. You waited for photos to be developed and hoped none of them had your finger covering the lens. Nothing was instant. And because of that, you learned how to wait and how to appreciate things. Today, if Wi-Fi takes 3 seconds, people lose their minds. Back then, waiting was life. And let's be honest, people from the 70s are built different. You don't panic easily. You don't complain much. You don't need constant validation. You've seen worse. You've lived through power outages, boredom, awkward silence, and being unreachable. And you survived. That's why you're calm when things go wrong. Because in your head you're thinking, well, at least it's not 1978. But here's the beautiful part. People who grew up in the 1970s may joke about it, but deep down, they're proud. Proud of the resilience. Proud of the independence. Proud of the stories that sound unbelievable today. You didn't have much, but you had freedom. You didn't have technology, but you had imagination. You didn't have safety nets, but you learned how to stand on your own. And that shaped you forever. So if you grew up in the 1970s, this isn't just nostalgia. It's proof. Proof that you came from a time when life was raw, real, and a little reckless, and somehow, that made you stronger. And if someone younger ever asks, how did you survive without the internet? Just smile and say, we didn't need it. We had common sense. And a lot of luck. If this felt familiar, you're not alone. And if you didn't grow up in the 1970s, now you know why those people are so tough and why they're always shaking their heads at today's world.